You want to know what real power looks like? Let me paint you a picture, because once you've seen it, you can't unsee it, and you sure as hell won't forget it. There's a moment when you realize the rules you thought were unbreakable don't really exist for everyone, and sometimes, the one with the quietest voice is the one that turns the whole world upside down. That day, it was me on the wrong end of a cop's flashlight, not screaming, not begging, just still. The sun was bleeding out behind the rooftops, streets mostly empty, my own heartbeat the only drum in the car. I wasn't in a rush, just wanted to get home, you know? The neighborhood looked the way comfort should, porch lights popping on, families at dinner, everything in its right place. I didn't expect the trouble. I never do. But when those red and blue lights lit up behind me, it felt less like a traffic stop and more like the opening note of a song you never wanted to dance to. Officer Larkin got out first, swagger all shoulders and boots, looking like he'd written the law and was here to see if I'd memorized it. He didn't bother with pleasantries, just rapped on my window twice, sharp, cold, not a please in sight. License and registration. Not even eye contact yet. I moved slow, like I had all the time in the world. Asked him, "Why'd you stop me?" He looked at me with a half-smile, like he'd already won the argument. "Driving below the speed limit. That's suspicious around here." Suspicious. That word, you know what I mean? It's like a blank check. He fills in whatever he wants. He had me step out. Didn't ask. Ordered. I kept my head high, hands visible, heart steady. The hood of my car felt cold under my palms. He eyed my duffel bag in the back. "You military?" He snapped. "I don't have to answer that," I told him. His eyes narrowed. This wasn't about a broken taillight. He wanted a confession for a crime that didn't exist. He started circling, peering through my windows, opening the trunk without asking. Inside, he found the green duffel, the box, my things arranged just so. He pawed at the blue velvet box, my service medal, not that he cared. "You playing dress up?" he sneered. My silence was a wall. It rattled him. Another cop rolled up, then Jamie Ruiz, young, brown-skinned, nerves showing. He hung back, clearly still new at this, trying to read the situation. "She's being uncooperative," Larkin muttered. Ruiz didn't look convinced. "See, there's a tension nobody teaches you how to handle." Larkin kept escalating, demanding, pushing for that one reaction he could write up, justify. He shoved me onto the hood, hard enough to sting, not enough to bruise, but I could hear the message. I'm in charge. Jamie stepped forward, voice wavering. "She's not resisting, sir." Larkin cut him off. "She's non-compliant." That's enough. I felt the cuffs close around my wrists, the metal biting, but I just breathed through it. Sometimes stillness is all you've got. Sometimes it's enough. He never bothered to ask who I was. Never looked close enough to see the name badge peeking out under my jacket, the insignia on my sleeve, the lifetime built on following and giving orders. He saw what he wanted to see. And when Jamie finally noticed, his whole face changed. The rookie realized, maybe too late, that nothing about this was routine. Then, right when the air got thick enough to choke, a black SUV rolled to a stop just past my car. A man stepped out, Mason, a presence in a long coat, not in a hurry, not interested in the officers. He handed Jamie a sealed federal envelope, didn't say a word. Jamie read it, his hands actually shaking, then looked at me like he'd just seen a ghost. "Colonel Elise Ward, U.S. Army Intelligence. Tier 1 clearance." "That's not a title you print at Kinko's." Larkin barked out a laugh, still in denial. "Right, and I'm the Secretary of Defense." He tried to wave off the document, but you could see the fear working its way up his neck. Mason didn't argue. He just stood there, calm as midnight, letting the silence do its work. Jamie double-checked the clearance, the badge, the medal, all of it real and earned. And suddenly, nobody wanted to be holding the keys to those cuffs. I watched Larkin's face as he read the badge on the hood. It was like he'd been handed a mirror and didn't like what he saw. "You violated protocol," I told him, my voice steady. "You ignored procedure, treated me like a threat. But the only threat here was your own ignorance." He stepped back, mumbling, no power left in his words. The wind picked up, snatched the citation pad right out of his hand, sent it cartwheeling down the street, nature's little punchline. Jamie unlocked the cuffs, his eyes apologizing in ways words never could. I didn't rub my wrists. I just stood, collecting myself, badge gleaming in the sunset. "Sometimes silence isn't grace, it's mercy," I said quietly. Mason waited by the SUV, and as I left, Larkin finally managed. Why didn't you just say something? I paused, door half closed, and told him the truth. Because people like you don't listen. You look, you judge, you act, and then you regret. Then I was gone, leaving them standing in the dust, the badge still shining on the hood. That could have been the end, but the world has a way of noticing when the mask slips. Jamie's body cam caught everything. That night, he sent the footage to an old friend, a journalist named Maya, no context, just the raw video. The next morning, my name was everywhere. But it wasn't the medals or the title that went viral. It was the look I gave the camera, the way I stood silent, unshaken. The headline was simple. Colonel Ward never flinched. People didn't just watch. They felt it. That moment, me still and silent while power tried to shout me down, became a wave. Hashtags exploded. Commentators argued on live streams. She didn't fight back. She let the world watch him crumble. Some called it discipline, some called it chilling, but everyone saw the same thing. Proof that power doesn't have to roar. The fallout came fast. Larkin was suspended, internal affairs breathing down his neck. Protests outside the courthouse weren't loud, they were silent. People just holding up my face, or his, as if to say, look who blinks first. At the hearing, the panel tried to put the blame back on me. If you just cooperated, they said. But I told them, clear, calm, no anger. You think restraint is manipulation? If my rank humiliated him, it's because he never expected someone like me to have it. There was no applause, just people standing in silent witness, a different kind of victory. The story spread. Kids drew pictures of me standing still, unbowed. Murals went up. Letters poured in from retired cops and soldiers, each one admitting what nobody says out loud. We train people for power, not for humility. In some places, departments started new conversations about listening, about seeing the person in front of you before you see the threat. But not everyone liked it. Some said I was arrogant, that I should have just explained myself. Maybe they were right. Maybe comfort wants a bow, a smile, a thank you. But discomfort is the birthplace of change. I didn't chase the headlines. Didn't give interviews, post tweets, nothing. Just went back to living, letting the silence ripple. One night, Mason found me staring at a child's drawing left on our porch, a rough sketch of me, arms behind my back. I steady. I whispered, they see me, but they don't know what they're seeing. And that was enough. Jamie turned down his promotion, transferred to the academy. His first day, he wrote on the board, what will you do if the person you're ordered to detain is the one who fought for your right to breathe free? That silence in the classroom? It wasn't emptiness. It was the next chapter. Now there's a brass plaque on that old curb. Nothing fancy, just a single line. The moment you raised your voice, she stayed still, and history heard her. Some folks argue about what I should have done, what I could have said, but here's the thing. I wasn't the one on trial. Sometimes the most powerful voice is the one that doesn't need to get loud. I stood still, and the whole system trembled. So, tell me, what would you have done? Was it right to wait? To let them dig their own hole before I showed the badge? Or should I have spoken up sooner? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk about what justice, dignity, and true strength mean. Because sometimes, the loudest revolution is the one that never has to shout.